Here's a list of everything that I use to create these canvas frames. As always, all the product links are in the description below. So if you have a miter saw or a table saw, be sure to use those. If you don't, do not worry, you can use a hand saw with some sort of cutting guide and a miter box. I'm just using this canvas print as a rough guide to map out approximately how much underlayment I'll need for a backboard, and I'm just cutting off a rough piece. This will just make it easier to work with. I'll take this board to a table saw later to make a much more precise cut. If you don't have a table saw, you would just take an extra second, maybe a clamp of some sort and some sort of cutting guide to make a much more precise cut now. Here I just taped down the canvas with some painter's tape so it stays put and doesn't move around, so that I can accurately map out where the pine boards will lay, and then I can map out exactly where to cut so the backboard fits the frame and the canvas just perfectly. And then I'm just going to cut along the lines that I traced using my table saw. Once again, if you don't have one, you can use a hand saw with some sort of cutting guide. Here I'm just lining up the frame boards against the backboard to accommodate the length, marking where I need to cut. I'll be doing a 45-degree cut just because I think it looks a little bit cleaner. If you don't want to do a 45-degree cut, just go ahead and do one of those straight joints. And here I'm using my sliding miter saw by Ryobi to make some 45-degree angle cuts for the framing pieces. If you don't have a miter saw, you don't need to go and buy one for this project. You can just use a miter clipper even. I have one linked in the description below, or you can use a hand saw. Here I'm just lining up the pieces I had cut to the backboard to make sure they fit the backboard properly. Once I'm happy with them, I will use these to mark the rest of the framing pieces down and cut those to size so that I don't have to keep measuring and cutting over and over again. After applying some glue to the miter cuts and joining the pieces together, I went in with the brad nailer to really make this frame durable. And then I glued the frame to the backboard and nailed it in as well. And then just grab a spray paint or wood stain of your choice that you think will complement your specific artwork the best, and cover the insides of the frame and outside of the frame evenly. Do 2 coats if necessary. You can also leave this blank, and don't worry about covering the underlayment because your canvas is going to sit on top of that. To guarantee that both frames would be the exact same size and length, I just used the first frame to trace out the second frame, cut it down, and built it just like the first one. After checking to make sure the canvas fits the frame properly, what I did is applied a little bit of glue to the backboard, spread it out with the spatula to make sure there's no bubbles that poke through afterwards. And here I'm just laying the canvas onto the frame and smoothing it out with a wallpaper spatula for even application. And here I'm just installing some picture hooks at 10 inches down the frame so I can hang this later. As you can see, I'm just repeating the same measuring process and cutting process as the last 2 frames to accommodate the dimensions of this picture as it's smaller and different. And because this picture wasn't as intense and intricate as the other one, I decided to stain the frame with some leftover stain I had from my barn door to make it pop a little more. This is such a unique, inexpensive, and versatile way to lean or hang your favorite prints, pictures, or posters in your home. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.